You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real as Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. You can make this possible. Folks, Florida, one of the issues when we talk about what's going on there, removing felons from the rolls. Florida, they're trying to push former felons off the voter rolls if they have outstanding court debts. In a surprise late-hour move that comes after more than 2 million people have already voted, Florida, a presidential battleground state, is trying to all of a sudden now make this move. Desmond Meade, he is the president of the Florida Rights Restoration Coalition. They, of course, led the effort for Amendment 4 to restore the voting rights to upwards of 1.4 million incarcerated people. Desmond, there's nothing that surprises me with Florida Republicans. I remember when y'all were on the show after the victory in Amendment 4, and I said I don't trust them Florida Republicans, and they have proven me right every single time. So explain what the hell they're trying to do now. Remove folks who've already possibly voted?
Yeah, Roland, I can't even defend them right now. At the end of the day, what they're trying to do is actually illegal. In Florida, you cannot remove somebody less than 30 days out from an election. And for them to even attempt to do so is a blatant violation of the law. But we know that there are folks that are desperate. There are folks that are trying to intimidate folks and discourage people from voting, especially in the African-American community. But our message to them is, we won't recognize what they're trying to do, but we're letting them know that we don't scare easy, and we're not going to be easily intimidated. And that's why I'm on the bus right now, touring the state of Florida, getting the troops fired up and ready to go for the 24th of October, when we're going to clap back on any types or any attempts to suppress, intimidate, or discourage our vote.
I'll be with y'all on Friday and Saturday. Of course, the rally taking place in Orlando, some 24 events y'all are having across the state. But again, I'm reiterating, this is what I keep trying to explain to people, that it is Republican Party policy to focus on voter suppression. After Amendment 4 passed, was it nearly 100,000 former felons who registered to vote? Because the secretaries, actually the boards of elections, they were trying to say, hey, we need some guidance here. They begin to register people. And so before the lawsuits and everything, it was 85,000 to 100,000. So basically, are the Republicans trying to get those 85,000 removed?
Pretty much. And within those 85,000, ironically, are people who have had their voting rights restored through clemency. And when you have your rights restored through clemency, you don't have to pay off any outstanding fines and fees, which brings up another situation, Roland, because the governor and previous governors before in Florida have a history of restoring voting rights to people with civil rights, right, without requiring them to pay any outstanding fines and fees. And so why is our current governor fighting to stop us from actually, from voting and making us pay these same fines and fees that they're not requiring people to pay when they apply for clemency?
The thing that, again, there are people who have come to your effort. LeBron James and others have been raising money to help pay off some of these fees. Michael Bloomberg, I think, was some 16. I heard that. So just tell me what the truth. How much have y'all been able to raise, and how's that going to help pay these fines and fees off? And also educate our people, because here's the problem. You and I have talked before. They hear this huge number. One thing that you told me was that, well, there are some people who had massive fines or had to pay back massive amount of money, but the vast majority of the people, it's smaller amounts of money to actually have to pay off. Explain that for the people who are watching.
Yeah, so first of all, let me just make some slight corrections off of what you said at the very beginning. Man, when the 11th Circuit decided that they wanted to reverse the lower court's ruling, because remember, Roland, we won that lawsuit in the Northern District of Florida. And the judge was like, man, listen, a lot of this stuff is nothing but a poll tax and therefore unconstitutional. And even the stuff that may be legit, a person being poor should never be a barrier to them being able to vote. And when the 11th Circuit sought to reverse that, man, we had over 88,000 people throughout the country, from celebrities like Michael Jordan and LeBron James and Ariana Grande to corporations like Levi's and Viacom and so many more, and thousands upon thousands of people who just flooded money into the organization, an average donation of over $300. And we raised over $25 million in a matter of a couple of months. And we were able to pay that money out and to remove those legal financial obligations from at least 40,000 individuals in the state of Florida. And so, we're like encouraged that people were able to just come together, people from all walks of life, to support democracy, because no American citizen should be forced to choose between putting food on their table or voting, or rather paying rent or their mortgage or voting. And so folks around the country stood up and said democracy would not be held hostage in Florida. And they're still donating, and we're still paying off fines and fees to clear a pathway for people that if they want to be able to register to vote, them being poor would not be a barrier to them.
You shook your head at the Michael Bloomberg. That money's not going to y'all. What's the deal with that?
Let me tell you, that's why I shook my head, because, number one, I can tell you right now that we have not received one penny from Michael Bloomberg. And to be totally honest with you, here's the deal, right? The focus, and Roland, me and you go at it back and forth, that, you talk about those doggone Republicans doing their dirty deeds, and I can't deny it, but I know that my focus and the focus of FRRC is to let all of the politicos get in that partisan stuff and let all the legal folks get into litigation, and we're going to maintain focus on the people, that we know that what's lost in all of this are the lives of real people, and that's what we're pushing. And unfortunately, that Michael Bloomberg announcement created a cloud over work that we've been doing for over a year, Roland. And it goes to show how politics, especially when people engage in partisan politics, that real people suffer, right? Because we've been doing this work for over a year, never any problems. The minute this announcement was made, all of a sudden it became politicized, and there's this cloud that's hanging over everything that we're doing. But we're moving forward because we didn't even receive a penny from Michael Bloomberg. The money that we got was from patriots across the country that wanted to free democracy here in Florida.
I want to ask you this question here. You may have heard the conversation we had before. There's been a lot of conversation about that in terms of Democrats needing to appeal more to black men. How the Trump campaign, they believe, they told me this 2018, that they believe they can get upwards of 20% black men. What are you hearing? And granted, you're a nonpartisan group, but what are you hearing? And what should the Dems be saying to these brothers? Because these are the folks who you're talking to.
I mean, listen, at the end of the day, let's keep it real. We have suffered under both regimes, right? And I think that, the Dems or anybody should be doing exactly what is required of people like me that have previous felony convictions. Because once we're convicted, right, when we try to move on with our lives, the whole world wants us to, first of all, do what? Say that we're sorry for the crimes that we did, right? And we promise to be better or to do better in our lives. And I think that that's something that we don't hear from people. It happened in 2016 with Hillary Clinton, that people are not addressing the people who they have impacted most by their policies. You've seen it even with Mike Bloomberg. At the end of the day, people that have supported or created policies that have caused trauma to the African-American community, they think that they can just give a donation to the NAACP and all of their sins are forgiven. And that's the wrong answer. Not in this day and age, that they have to have direct communication with the people who they've caused the most harm, right? And they have to apologize for that. and they have to show some type of remorse, right? But at the end of the day, Roland, when I look at Florida, what I see more than anything, the biggest winners are going to be people with previous felony convictions. I'm telling my folks that, listen, when we go to the polls, right, there's a lot behind that. That when you go to the polls, you don't go for any one man. What you go for is yourself, because it's only when we show up, right, that people will listen. If we stay at home and don't come to the polls, then politicians are not going to care what's happening in our community. They're not going to care too much about what's going on. But when we show them that we're able to show up and show up in great numbers, right, they have no choice but to listen to us. And we've seen that play out just a few months ago during the Super Bowl, when the one advertisement that Trump had, right, he could have picked immigration, he could have picked the economy, he could have picked all kinds of things, but he chose criminal justice, because even he is smart enough to know that the sleeping giant is awakening, and that returning citizens, not only in the state of Florida, but across this country, are rising up, right? And Amendment 4 has been a great stimulator, a great catalyst in creating this movement. And I'm going to tell you right now, we have enough returning citizens that's on the roster right now to make a distinctive impact on the outcome of this presidential election. So both sides have to pay attention, and both sides need to speak to the needs that impact, or the issues that impact, the African-American men, the African-American community, and returning citizens.
So I just want to be clear before I press send on this tweet. You just said it. So when the announcement was made last month that billionaire Michael Bloomberg was going to give $16 million to pay off to a fund to pay off the fines and fees of individuals who were formerly incarcerated, that was supposed to be, I'm looking at an NPR story, that was supposed to be with your organization. You're saying y'all have not received any of that money from Mike Bloomberg.
To date, we have not received any donation from Michael Bloomberg.
Have they contacted y'all? Have y'all heard from him or his office?
Well, listen, let me tell you.
I just want to be clear.
We have, but no, I want to be very clear. We have, but one of the things that I know is that we are focused on moving forward. We are focusing on the people that have reached out and have given, and we have focused on the returning citizens that we're helping with these funds. That's number one priority. Right now, I can tell you right now, because of everything that's going on in Florida, don't have time to sit around and wait to decide when somebody's going to give or if they're going to give, right? We only have enough time to make sure that we engage every last one of the 1.4 million returning citizens, and those that are registered, we want to encourage them to show up at the polls, especially on October 24th, right, to have our voices heard. That's number one priority to me.
I got it. Desmond Meade, I certainly appreciate it, man. Thank you so very much.
Thank you for having me.
All right, man.
And I like the shirt you're wearing.
Well, of course, y'all gave it to me, so and so I'll be looking to be rocking a new one when I come into town on Friday. I'll be doing the show, of course, from there. And again, we look forward to the big rally, the social distance rally, be having in Orlando. We'll be live streaming that right here on Roland Martin Unfiltered.
We'll have the hat and the wristband waiting for you too, as well.
All right, sounds good, Desmond. I appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
All right, folks, back to our Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment.
All right, the folks at Ceek.com, black-owned company founded by Mary Spio. They, of course, a virtual reality company. You can check out their content at Ceek.com, CEEK.com. You can do so, of course, with these VR headsets. You can look at it, of course, on your regular device or your pad or your computer. But if you want to experience being in the room, you can use this headset right here. All you simply do is just pop in your cell phone in here, pop it on, and then put this headset on, and you can literally experience their content in virtual reality. reality, and so allows for you to do a 360-degree view of the room. But also, folks, they have the 360-degree 4D headphones right here. These are Bluetooth headphones. They have complete surround sound in terms of as you hear the particular music. Gamers love them as well when they're playing their games, and so it's just phenomenal bass in these headphones as well. You can get one or both devices at Ceek.com using this promo code RMVIP2020, RMVIP2020. So we certainly thank the folks at Ceek.com for being a partner with us here at Roland Martin Unfiltered. All right.